Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are starting a new different episode. It's in English. We did the Arabic ones before, and now we are doing the English version. You are most welcome. Please send your questions either to the messenger or to the email, thearabimmigrants@gmail.com, or find your way to the office with Mazen on +1 204 599 5999. Mr. Louay, welcome. Thank you.
How are you?
Today we have different things to talk about.
Okay.
We have questions and answers. We have the agriculture, which we spoke about it in Arabic.
Okay.
And there is an important issue, which is fraud in the IELTS. Some people are publishing fake news about IELTS certificates.
Right.
I will talk about that later.
Right.
So please, Mr. Louay, I'll start with something. We have an audio question.
Okay.
Somebody who sent a question. Please, Mr. Muhammad, listen to your question.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bring it here, and it's your turn.
My name is Muhammad Awad. My question is that what are the other immigration programs that operate outside express entry to avoid writing IELTS with high score for people age of 41 and more? I submitted my application to Saskatchewan SINB Occupation in Demand on 7 of June 2018 and my application is in a process. Please advise me what I can do if my application is not selected. Shall I wait or I can seek other program option? My occupation is mechanical engineer. I have overall IELTS 5.5. I have 15 years working experience. I am married with 2 children. My wife, her age is 35 years. She has a bachelor degree in English literature. She has 7-year working experience from 2002 to 2006. From 2006, she is not working. Currently, she is not working. Please advise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. And this is our first audio question, our first trial. Please, it's yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Thank you for contacting us. This is I just want to say that this is going to be this is not an ongoing thing with the English sessions. This is just maybe the only time, or might be another time. The reason why we wanted to do it this way is we wanted to have opportunity for our followers, Arabs and otherwise, who don't speak Arabic, whether you're from the Arab descent or you're not Arabic, you are welcome always to share and follow us. This is meant for everybody. So this session is to try and shed some light about some of these questions in our own Facebook site and also in the Arab immigrant site. So I'll start with Mr. Muhammad's scenario. Mr. Muhammad, thanks so much. That's very good detailed information. You're 41 years old. You gave us a lot of good information, really, and I understand you're currently have applied to the Saskatchewan program, the skilled program Saskatchewan, which is also one of the provincial nominee programs out there that is known to be one of the good programs. So, Mr. Muhammad, I'm sure when you applied to the Saskatchewan program, you have done your online scores and received some points. I don't know what the points are. It's not that's not your question to me, so we're not going to go there. Based on the information you provided for me, you're asking if there are other alternatives you might be able to apply for as a skilled program in Canada other than the Saskatchewan, in case you're not selected. And also, furthermore, what other programs in Canada that would require a lower IELTS score? Generally speaking, since 2000 and I want to say 2013, if not 12, the Canada has started to emphasize a lot on the English requirements, whether the provincial programs or the federal programs. So the federal programs, the English requirements scores started to go really high, and the provincial programs started to introduce English as requirements for the program. They started initially by saying it's recommended to have English scored, but then later on they moved to becoming mandatory. And that is the case with many of the programs across Canada, except for very few. I think there's only like 4 or 5 programs that do not have English as mandatory when it comes to provincial nominee programs. So to answer your question, Mr. Mohammed, your IELTS score, as you've told us, is 5.5. Your wife, you're 41 years old, your wife is 35. The children are, I assume, underage, which is not a problem. You have a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering, and your wife also has a bachelor degree as well. She has worked for 7 years, and the last year she worked was 2006. So based on that information, your wife wouldn't be eligible to apply as a skilled, if this information I have is correct. And again, this is not a legal advice, this is just a general discussion I'm having with you because I don't know your case. But based on what I'm seeing here, if your wife last year of work was 2006, so in the last 10 years she has not worked in her field or other fields, that would make you a better candidate, even though that you are older than her. Generally speaking, you will be losing points in the express entry because you're 41, but in the provincial programs that you have applied for and other ones in Canada, you are okay still for 41. So now let's talk. I mean, you're not in. We have the prime or the peak, and then we go lower, but you're still eligible to apply. So let's talk about what programs you might be eligible for right now. If you are looking at applying only for skill programs, then I would encourage you to apply for one of the other provincial nominee programs, not the express entry, because of your age, and also the English score is quite low compared to the express entry. I would strongly suggest that you should look into programs similar to Saskatchewan, the Manitoba, the New Brunswick, the Quebec, and look into it and see if you can actually apply for it. I can help you by doing an assessment later on, or you can have any licensed immigration consultant or immigration lawyer to do that for you. But you need to keep in mind that every program is a bit different. The differences between the program are in relation to 3 major factors. The age, some of them do have age limitations under 42 years old. The language also differs from one program to the other, and the area of experience that you have. The one thing I want you to look into as well, I didn't hear this information from you, is whether or not you have a close friend in one of these provinces or a relative. You've applied under to Saskatchewan, but the program that you've applied under in Saskatchewan, you can still apply even if you don't have the close relative there. So I'm assuming you do not have any close relatives in Canada, but if in case you do, I want you to let us know, and that would open more points and more area for you. Now, if you are not interested in applying only for the skill program, if you are open to apply for other programs, which I would encourage you to look into, you should look into, for your wife, look into maybe applying for a master's degree for her, since she's still a 35-year-old person. If she's able to do the study, that would be an advantageous position she's in. You can do the same yourself as well. I'm just trying to give you guys the best possible scenario for acceptance. There are other programs that you can still apply for. It has to do with study for a more of a technical part. So I'm not sure, as a mechanical engineer, did you work in the same field, or have you done more in the management or consultancy? That will play a factor in what kind of upgrade you can do for your degree. It could be in management or project management and so on. I'm not exactly sure. So the advice that I can, again, not legal advice, but the general advice I can give you and others who are listening, is because of your age and your language being 5.5, I would encourage you to look at other provincial nominee programs, in particular Manitoba, New Brunswick, and Quebec.
Okay. Now we have another question about the skilled worker.
Okay. Express entry?
Not express entry, the skills. Like if you remember Rami, who was doing the air conditioning.
Yes.
I've got a question today similar to that.
Okay.
What can you advise in that way? People who will go to the college to do a certificate and then come and apply.
Well, as long as we probably about maybe 9 or 10 episodes ago, we talked about colleges and that you should be careful about which college you're applying for. So the college that you need to apply for has to be one that is recognized by the government of Canada, that can allow you to proceed into an immigration program after that. Do you know what kind of certificate they have?
Air conditioning.
Same as?
It's a diploma.
Okay.
Like vocational training or something like this, which should be 2 years.
Yeah.
And he's working in refrigeration, maintenance, these things.
Yeah, so everybody, the requirements is only a year. So if you can finish a certificate or a diploma in a year, there are some programs that allow you to finish a year program, then work based on that. So let's go on something less than air conditioning. Let's look at cooking, for example, being a chef or catering or functions and so on. That is eligible for you to finish the program and then reapply once you have a job and worked for some time. Reapply for immigration or apply for immigration after that. So yes, the only trick you need to be careful with is whether or not this college is it a private that's not recognized by Canada, by the government, or is it an institution that actually is able to provide you with to further your career later on to apply for immigration. You can find that information from the Canada website.
All right. We have a pharmacist, Hussein. Hello. I will jump on the greetings. Thank you very much for all those nice words, and I will come to the subject. I do have a question. If you could provide me with an answer.
Okay.
I'm a pharmacist, and I want to get points of my education as pharmacist. For PIBIC. PIBIC is the regulating body for the pharmacists.
I understand.
And I want to get points for my education as pharmacist from PIBIC, which would be equal to a master's degree. But my major work experience is in another job with a different knock.
Okay.
Like most of the pharmacists who do sales.
Yes.
Other than pharmacists, is it possible to apply with another occupation and receive points for pharmacy education at the same time? So he's a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And you want to go for PIBIC for licensing.
Sure.
And want to get the master's as points.
Right.
But he is not working as a pharmacist, and he wants to get the knock for that and see if he can apply or not.
Yeah, okay, so two separate things, my friend. One is your degree and one is your work, which will lead you to the knock list. The degree part, you're probably talking about WES for the certificate
for the
credentials and see if actually you would receive masters or not. So with pharmacies, it depends on the country you're coming from. Some of them allow you study for 5 years and others for less. So you need to. It depends on your degree that you're going to provide to WES, and whether this degree Abu Walid would actually allow him to receive more than just a bachelor. So,
okay, if we consider that he is from a country that it is considered as a master's,
sure.
What is the situation?
So you'll get the I think it's 23 points if I'm not mistaken in the express entry points for masters instead of the 21, which is the bachelor. But then the work that you've been doing outside of pharmacy, that is going to count for your knock list. So if you're doing sales, you're going to look into the knock list that would fall under that. If you're doing wholesaling, if you're doing consultancy, if you're a drug rep, again, that's your work background is going to be related to the knock selection, and the number of years you work will be related to the the job experience you have, not as to your education. So the answer to your question, yes, you can get the credentials based on your degree, even though you did not work in the degree. You can get that. I don't know if you can get master's or not. That depends on your university that you studied in. And also you can apply under the NOC list where you worked. You cannot apply under the NOC list as a pharmacist because you did not work as a pharmacist.
Okay. We have another question in English.
Sure.
Can you read it, please?
Oh, sure.
Can
someone who has had PR after being designated by Manitoba Promotion Program move from one province to another without any trouble with the province? Can the province withdraw his designation?
Here we have another question. It came now. Okay. There are two things here. If somebody has got nomination
right,
to
and
a province,
has a PNP, yeah.
Yes, and when he moves to another one.
Right.
This is one point, and there is another question. It came in English yesterday.
Yeah.
It's for those people who came like refugees. Somebody who came to Montreal.
Yes.
And he has a brother here in Winnipeg.
Sure.
And he says he's just arrived. He doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to stay there, and he wants to come here. He's a refugee.
Okay.
Now, so we have one which is
federal, one
MPNP,
provincial,
and one is the refugee status.
Okay.
Can you please answer
Okay, that's two questions. And okay. So the answer for the first question about whether it's Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Quebec, it doesn't matter which province you apply for under provincial nominee program, you're nominated, and then based on this question you landed, so you received permanent residency. You have a permanent residency status. I'm going to answer the question from the immigration standpoint, not from the program requirement. So some programs, the old programs, you would have paid deposit, for example, if it's a business program. And if you would to move without satisfying these conditions, you would lose money. There's other requirements in other provinces. But from the permanent residency status point of view, if you came to Canada under a certain program and you received a permanent residency, you have moved now into a federal stage. So you are a permanent resident. You're not under the nomination anymore. So although it is, I would strongly recommend that you stick with the program that you applied for, and you stick in the province you have applied for and stay with them, because that's the code of conduct and the agreement that you would sign with them. It's only right. But if your circumstances changes, if you're somehow you can't find jobs in this province, if you your children, all of them, find university education in another place and not in this one, and so on, get accepted into medicine or something like that, for example, and you want to move, there are no penalties on you from the federal government. So your permanent residency and your citizenship will not be affected if you, after receiving the permanent residency, moving to another place. Again, everything I'm telling you guys is just general information. It's not based on this person's case, because there might be things they're doing I'm not exactly sure, but I will tell you the general rule is that if you have a permanent residency in Canada under any nomination program, you are free to relocate to another place. If your circumstances changes, it is recommended that you would inform the province that you have applied under. It is only ethical and professional to do so with the circumstance that happened to you, and there are no penalties for you to relocate. Your applying for your citizenship later on will not be affected. Let's move to the other question, which is the
refugees.
Okay. So if you come in as a refugee, in this case in Quebec, and you decide to relocate to another province, so your point of entry is one place, one province, and then you want to go somewhere else to have your refugee claim heard or attended to, you are allowed to relocate. You don't have to stay in the same city or province that you have entered into. And this happens all the time.
Okay, this is for the refugee who come and say, I want to be a refugee.
Right.
Now, those who come through a sponsor program and refugees, I mean, when they come,
Right.
and they were chosen in their camps or where they are in other countries.
Okay, like through a church or
yes,
organization.
like
okay.
we will come to that. I mean, the 5 or 2 people.
All right.
We will answer this question after this,
Okay.
because it's related to it. But he says that I have relatives in Manitoba, my cousins, whatever.
Sure.
And I don't want to stay in Montreal or even in Toronto. He's just come at the airport. They receive them, welcome them. Come on, we will take you to the shelter or to the home or whatever it is. No. I have relatives in Manitoba, and I want to go to Manitoba.
Okay.
Now, what is the situation? I spoke to somebody who runs one of those programs.
All right.
And he told me, usually the government allocate a number to each province.
That is correct.
And with this number, the services, medical, health, everything
is taken into consideration.
Is taken into consideration. Now, sorry, when everyone starts saying that, I don't want to be here, I want to be here, it has to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
You have to inform your sponsors that I want to move from here to here. So when they agree, they will cut the number from this province, as he told me, and allocate another sponsor at the other province. That's the official status, which he told me.
Okay.
But people do not do that. They just drive, they just take a plane.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Manitoba, I'm going to another.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay. So you are talking from an organization point of view or professional point of view?
Yes.
Okay, so that this way, that position that was vacant can be fulfilled by someone else.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's true from organizational point of view. That is again ethical and professional to do.
Ethical. We are talking ethical.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's both ethical and professional to do, but people don't do that, unfortunately. And if you came in through one of these organizations or group of 5 or whatever the case might be, actually, that's not exactly right. If it's a group of 5, it's a bit different situation. But let's assume you came in through a church, sponsorship by a church. If you come in as a sponsor by a church, you come to Montreal and you want to relocate to, say, Manitoba or Toronto or whichever. After receiving your permanent residency status, again, no one can make you stay in the same place. This is due to our
Constitution.
In particular, our Charter of Human Rights. The Charter of Human Rights in Canada limits some of the powers that the government can insert on people and give some power to the people for freedom and and so on and so on. So even though you've agreed to do something, when you become permanent resident, you're basically a citizen except for certain few things you still have to meet. So it's hard to put some restrictions on you to stay in one place that you cannot afford to stay in, or you're unable to for whatever the reasons. But I want to encourage my fellow immigrants, because I'm an immigrant. I came in 1989. I want to encourage you to show the same courtesy and professionalism and a good attitude as the government has shown you, as Canada has shown us, all of us. So I have to pay taxes. We have to abide by the rules. If the circumstances changes, like what Abu Walid said, just inform them. Just say to them, look, I'd love to stay here. I cannot. My brother is in Montreal or in Manitoba. I thought I could be on my own. I'm going crazy. I can't speak English. Whatever the circumstances that seems to have caused you to change your mind, please inform them. And as courtesy, let them know. Yes, they cannot hold you back, but honestly, it's you will not burn the bridge for someone coming behind you. Okay, so, and this happens a lot, by the way. I can tell you from my own experience, like when I came in 1989 to Canada, things were way much more easier than they are today for immigrants and education and so on. And every year they're becoming harder, every 2 years becoming harder. And it's not because the government likes to make things difficult for us, or the universities like to make things difficult for us. It's because some people, they break the law, or they try to go around the law, and the more they do this, the more they change it to become more difficult. When I was accepted in Concordia University in 1989, they asked for a copy of my high school certificate from Kuwait, a copy. A few years later, because people start to fake their copies and so on, they start asking for originals. They fake the originals, so they start asking for the school itself to send it directly to the university in a sealed envelope. Somehow they made people in the school send fake documents. I don't know how. So now they start asking them to send it from the ministry. So who's making it difficult on us? It's us. We're the one who are causing these issues, right? So, and I'm not saying us as an immigrants or us as Arab immigrants or wise. I'm just saying us as people who are enjoying the system, enjoying the freedom, enjoying the facilities, enjoying everything available, but not monitoring, honestly, not monitoring our co-fellow citizens or immigrants who are abusing the system, allowing that to happen, not educating them, not holding back on their hand from doing the wrong thing, and it's affecting all of us and our children later on. So as professional courtesy, if you agree to something with the government and you change your mind, the government will not force you to stay in the same place, but please inform them of your changed circumstances and ask for to be relocated. If you need to, you don't have to get a permission, but it would be a good idea so that they can organize themselves.
Okay. Mr. Abu Turkiya,
okay,
he's asking about education and how is it. I don't know what he's talking about. He wrote it in Arabic. لم ترد على طريقة الدراسة ولم أسمع الإجابة. أية الدراسة؟ هل هي في جامعة سان بونيفاس? University of San Boniface, which we, if you have watched the video for Dr. Zalama, which we published yesterday, it's in French. It's not in Arabic, it's not in English. But anyway, contact us, contact the office, and we will get you the answer.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Regarding, because there will be some announcement about the education coming soon.
Yeah, and if this is the same Mr. Muhammad who have left the voice
message
question.
No, it's a different one. That was okay. Muhammad.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
No problem.
Okay, now Mid Halal, you want to get a visa, you have to work for it. Nargis,
visa for
33 years, English, 8 years of teacher experience, IELTS 7.5, husband is 43, and then what do you want? The question. What is the question, Nargis? And you ask me again, answer my question.
It's years of she's asking for immigration, but under
okay.
Nargis, tell us please if you have any relatives in Canada. Tell us what is the. I think you're applying under skilled, if I'm not mistaken. I need to know if your husband have any experience in management or ownership.
Did he do IELTS or only you?
Did she say she did? Oh,
she
did 7.5. Okay.
So she scored 7.5 in IELTS.
Okay.
And she is 33. She's English language, 8 years of experience. That's you need the money also for the immigration as for the
settlement.
No. In order to come, money? She has to show the statement from the bank.
The settlement. Yeah. So Nargis, please let us know more information. And about the English, you studied English, and 8 years experience in teaching. So that's gonna create an issue for you because, as you know,
as a school teacher,
in English, you might have a challenge with the knock list. So you might want to look into those provinces I told you about, especially the New Brunswick one. In your case.
Yes. And شكرا يا محمد فراج، شكرا يا فراس، شكرا يا نادية، شكرا يا نرجس كمان مرة. وبعدين طه. Can someone who has PR after being designated? We answered this.
That's the
We have
question.
answered it, Hassan. Mohsen, I don't know why you are writing your details. I will not delete it now, but I'll tell you, write a question to get an answer. But to write your details, there's no home service delivery.
I think he is looking at work visa. Is that the same?
No, he's only writing Gmail, WhatsApp, nothing.
I think this is him as well, underneath. If you go
Again, work visa, please. We are not issuing work visas.
No, we don't do work
We
visas.
don't do that. Sorry. We are not the immigration office or the labor office. I'm sorry. Okay, Muhammad, you joined now, but we have put your question in the beginning. Review the episode, please. Rizq Fathi, thank you very much for joining. Ahmad, shukran. Zaim, shukran. Hadir, you live in Iraq and you want to get refugee status. You need to have UNHCR and you register with one of the groups, SAH groups.
Yeah, we covered that many times in the
Yes,
other
in the
episodes
previous.
before.
Go for the YouTube channel, the Arab Immigrants. Please, you will find episodes there.
Okay.
Watch them. If you have a question, come back again. Narjis, احنا ردينا. Muaz, if I apply and study in Canada, can I change it to PR? This is the study to become permanent
That's a good
residence.
question, yeah.
And this is part of the Mr. Zalama's subject
one of the
yesterday in the
options, yeah.
French. How I will apply for PR after I finish study, work, or after I finish study should be same as what I studied in Canada. If I apply for express entry and work experience is not same. We just answered that. If you have work experience different, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, in a work experience,
That's
different
fine.
jobs, two different. We've just answered that. Okay, if you want to elaborate, it's yours.
Just very, very quickly, I'm
لا معتز الكلام هذا.
Mu'taz, I'm just gonna quickly comment and say yes, you do have an option to apply for permanent residency. Depends on what you're. It depends on where you're studying, which province you're studying in. You might have an option under the provincial program or under the express entry after that. Don't forget that Canada provides you, if you finish studying from education institution with a degree that is recognized, Canada will allow you a 1 year work permit to work after that, which is very powerful. And you can apply after that to the PR program that you'd like. So it's a very powerful thing. Maybe I can just spend. Do you mind if I spend just 2 minutes quickly?
It's yours.
I just want to comment on the video that is on the Facebook about Dr. Faisal Zalama. Dr. Zalama is he's a
Associate professor.
Yeah, his credential speaks for himself. But I was going to say he's a good person and he's also very helpful to the community. St. Boniface as a university has been very generous in accepting international students, especially mostly in the French-speaking background. So I'm saying this in English because I don't speak French. My French is comme ci comme ça.
Like my Japanese.
So I say this to our French-speaking followers. Please, if you would like to study in Canada, we can get you an acceptance into a university very easily, very little requirements, and you can. Today is September the 20th. We can get you that acceptance by January, to start this January. But you need to act very fast. You need to act within the next 2 to 3 weeks maximum, because we need to have the applications in by mid-October maximum. So please act fast. There's still about maybe 10 to 15 positions available. Maybe, I'm going to double check. But we need minimum requirement. Follow the video for Dr. Zalama. Contact our office, isa@alghoul.com, isa@alghoul.com. Send us your CV, your transcript of study, your birth certificate, and we'll take it from there. Okay. And for the fees, they're going to give you a special fee here for the but you need to be speaking French. So we are focusing now only on the French speaking for this. We will have other episodes to talk to you about the English speaking institutions and so on. Dr. Zalama and myself and Mr. Abu Walid, we were in another episode and I talked about how you can get benefits from the university if you're studying French, grants and so on, because we are looking for French-speaking people to come in. We are short of French-speaking people in Canada. The minorities are French, and we're not actually getting to that level. So we need that ASAP. Whether you're an Arab French-speaking or non-Arab French-speaking, apply. There's good positions for you. So that's the two things I want. Again, there's a try to act very swiftly within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maximum 1 month, and because we need some time to help you. I want to also focus, because we spoke about this in Arabic, but not in English. I want to focus also on the people who are very serious about applying under the business program. The program right now is open to accept applicants under the Manitoba program I'm talking about for the business sector. There is no pool, there is no EUI to apply for from now till the end of the year. I've made the same reference in, I don't know, again, maybe 6 or 7 episodes ago. In Arabic, I emphasized on how important to act fast. I emphasize again on that. You really need to act fast, and you need to do it correctly, because the time is very short. It's until the end of this year. If you do it wrong, then you lose the opportunity. So act fast for anybody who meets the minimum requirements for the business program. Go on our website. You'll see I have an episode in English in our Facebook about the new program for Manitoba and the requirements and so on. I'm going to summarize it for you in 5 points. Minimum requirements: minimum of $500,000 Canadians as a net worth minimum. That means assets and minus liabilities. Net worth is 500 or more minimum. Level of English: you need to have a minimal level of English. I need you to have. Give me. If you can get me 6.5, that would be perfect. I need the age group to be up to 45, 46. You're still okay. The experience: you have to have 3 years of management experience, senior management experience. That means you have abilities to hire, fire, make directions, answer to the board or to the CEO. You're in the senior management. And the last thing, or if you're not senior management, then ownership of a business of no less than 1/3 for 3 years or more. Okay. And 5 is able to come to do an exploratory visit in Winnipeg, Manitoba, or Manitoba generally speaking, for 10 days, and preferably 10 business days. Those are the 5 minimum. You give me those 5 minimum, I can help you. Again, there's a short deadline left. Act fast, please.
Okay. Uhud, she's asking about living in Manitoba for husband, wife, and 2 children, 8 and 12, coming as students.
All right.
Visa. It depends, Uhud. Since you have only 2 below 12, you can get a condominium flat, what we call it.
Oh, the living expenses. Okay, she's looking at living expenses.
And she's asking about the casual work for one of them or both. I don't know if you have a work permit.
I don't know.
Little more details, please, Uhud, because we need to know if you are allowed to work, both of you or one of you.
Yeah, because if you're international students, it's expensive. It's very, very expensive. It's around 8,000 to 9,000.
But I'll let you know.
Child.
At 12, 1,200 might get you a flat of 2 bedrooms in some places. Some places are more, 1,600. Yeah. Some people, 1,100. Depends upon. But if you are coming to the university and you didn't mention, I assume that it is the one in the South Campus, Fort Garry of Manitoba, University of Manitoba. Yeah. If it is downtown, that's a different issue, because some places in the north are cheaper. People don't like that, like to be near to this house, Saint Vital,
Yeah.
and others.
Now, Ahoud, if you're coming as a study, if you have a study permits already, study visa and study permits already in the university, then as you know, your children are allowed to study as well, and you are allowed, your spouse is allowed to work, apply for work permit with no restrictions, and you can work also with the limited hours with some restrictions.
Yes.
So that will help.
Okay, Maad, you are a graphic designer and you want to come to Canada. And I think you are speaking French because you said you know little about English. You need to contact ISA at alghoul.com. They will send you a questionnaire, and after that they will decide your eligibility.
And he's applying for what?
No, he says he is a graphic designer.
Okay.
That's it. And he wants to come to Canada.
Okay. Well, try to apply as a student if you can. If you're young, I'm not sure how old you are.
If you have money. Because you need to pay for the fees.
And it's not that expensive.
It's not expensive, but
St. Boniface is cheaper than.
when I asked, he mentioned something around 6,000 a year.
Yes, that's really cheap compared to international
Compared to the others,
Very
but
cheap.
plus your expenses of living.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sorry.
So I am. Do you want to do the episode for questions and answers, or do you want me to talk a little bit about the farming as well?
Okay, I'll give you now the chance to do the farming today because we have 15 minutes. I think, Muhammad, about 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Okay. We won't take too long because we've talked about this before again. If you look at our August and September 2017 episodes in our Facebook, the farming program in Manitoba has not changed. So very little changes has been happening to it. So it's the same beautiful active program. Allows you to come to Manitoba and invest in a farm in Manitoba. We talked about this, I think, on Tuesday in Arabic about this program. So if you have watched us on Tuesdays, it's repetitive to what we just said, but this is in English. Basically, guys, or ladies and gentlemen, basically, if you have a background experience in running a farm, not being studying in farm but not working it, you have to be actually running a farm, studying experience in running a farm for 3 years, or ownership of a farm for 3 years. That's a requirement. If you have a net worth of the minimum that they're requiring, if you can invest 150 in a farm, it doesn't have to be in Winnipeg. It could be a few hours away from Winnipeg as well, or around in Manitoba. And if you're able to relocate here, and the farm that you want to start is related in experience to your background of running or owning the farm, then you do qualify initially. So that's a really simple program. There's of course many other requirements that we can go over, but for the ones in our audience who are listening and who are or know of someone who owns a farm or runs a farm or something to that effect, there are no requirements of how big your farm was back home. There is no, there is a minimum requirements of what is a farm to run in here in Canada. That's the understanding, but there is no you don't have to own thousands of acres or hundreds of acres back home just to run a farm or even own a farm. Okay, it could be a small one. In Canada here, it's also understandable that in Manitoba you need to own a farm not in the city, outside the city as well, and to be living in it or close to it, you and your family. I think the program is very attractive to many people who have background in farming. As you can tell, education is not a requirement. English is very lenient with English. This is one of the programs I was talking about earlier where English is not a requirement as well. So please study it, look into it again, look at our videos again, go over the points again, ask us any questions you have. I'm more than happy to help you.
All right. You still have time to answer a few questions?
Yeah, 5 more minutes. Let's do 5 more minutes.
I think we have a chance. I'm not sure about this question, which came as a sound.
Okay.
I need to get it, but I hope, Mr. Ahmed, you can record your question and I will get it.
Sure.
عهود دراستي my study will be at the University of Manitoba تحديدا. Okay, if you are in Fort Garry campus, it's different than downtown.
Okay.
Each area is little, but I gave you I mean,
the range.
Some range.
Yeah.
I mean, at 1,200 minimum.
Yeah, it's for 2 bedrooms. You're looking. I agree with Walid. Anywhere between 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,300.
Okay. Mr. Theo says, Salam. As with regards to SAH organization, is it true that SAH takes longer to bring refugees than other private sponsorship group? I don't know. I mean, does SAH take more time?
I cannot comment on that really. I don't feel
It's
comfortable.
a paperwork.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable commenting on that because I don't want to compare one organization to the other. It's not right for me to do so.
Hiji, how could I get the visa in the easiest way?
Visa study?
Fulfill the requirements.
Sorry, what visa?
He made it open.
Okay.
He wants a visa.
What visa? Study or
That's why I say
visitor
fulfill the requirements.
Oh.
If it is tourist, if it is visit, if it is work, if it is study, each one it has its own conditions.
Right.
Fulfill the requirements.
We don't know what it is then.
You didn't. We say please be generous. Write more lines.
Yeah.
Give more details, and we are ready.
Yeah, like you guys all listen to Mr. Muhammad, I think, who gave us
The first question.
Yeah, that's very good. That's
if
very good
you
information.
listen to the episode again from the beginning, he gave full details in 1 minute.
Yeah, that's
and
very good.
I ask you, just record your question. Send your question with voice, and we will listen and we'll tell you. I'm not sure if this one. Can I have the headphones? I need to listen to the question first. It's not there.
It's actually loading, I think, right? Is it? Or is it playing?
No, it's not coming.
Okay.
I will see. How can I get your question? Yes. Maybe you can send it to me back again, or I get it through another way. Don't worry. And inshallah Rabbil Alameen. Do I have a question here? No. What about the sound? Yes.
Express entry.
Yes, he has a question. Okay. Because I want people to learn why I'm putting this. I want people to learn in sending their questions by audio. That will help us a lot, and you will feel happy to hear your question.
But just make sure you don't put your first and last name, please. Just make it more confidential for you.
Yes. Just put the question, and we are ready to play it. Okay. So I'll put the audio here for you, Mr. Ahmad, and it's here.
I just need to check what is the difference between the prevention nominee program and the express entry, and in case of having a nephew relative, which one is recommended?
The volume,
Thank you.
It's on the maximum.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, may I?
Maybe, if there's a...
There you go. The media. Go ahead.
Okay, we hope. Okay, we are back again. And Mr. Ahmad again. Let us see.
I just need to check what is the difference between the prevention nominee program and the express entry, and in case of having a nephew relative, which one is recommended? Thank you.
Okay, so we have a question now.
Okay, so it's a really huge question. I'm going to summarize it by saying that there are two completely different programs. One of them, the prevention nominee program, depends on which province you apply for and which program in the province. Most of the programs are required to have a relative, close relative, or a very close friend. The advantages of the prevention nominee program: you get more points for having the relative there and having the closer friend. Some of them do not allow you to apply unless you have a close relative and close friend. The English requirements in the prevention nominee programs are less than the express entry programs. The age limit is also more flexible in the prevention nominee program than the express entry program. So express entry, they're a bit harsh on being at a certain age. The prevention nominee program will give you more room. So these would be the major ones, I would say.
اوكي في عنا حليم باعت مجمل رسالة. هذه هتحتاج انه انتم تشوفوها وتفصلوها وتردوا عليه. مش هيكون مكانها في المكان اللي احنا فيه الان.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is he sent.
من الجزائر. أنا حليم من الجزائر، متزوج وعنده 5 أطفال، عنده 42 سنة، بنا محترم.
We flip to Arabic.
He wrote it in Arabic. What can I say? Okay, Mr. Halim.
I love Arabic. We love Arabic.
Mr. Halim from Algeria. He's married with 5 children, 42 years, and he is a Mason, and he wants to immigrate. Is it part of those professions like Morden can take? I tried, wallah. I spoke to the people in Morden, and I'm waiting for an interview so we can tell you about Morden program, because they get builders, welders,
more
technicians.
Professional, more technicians and laborers, right?
Thank you, Halim. There was a question here about somebody who wants to do NBA, how he can get the visa. Can you help students in applying for visas?
Yes, of course.
Because some people, this is a question,
yes,
a real question. Some students fulfill the requirements and they get the list refused.
Right, of course.
What can you do in this case?
Applying for a study visa and a study permit is not it's not easy as it might sound. And yes, sometimes you will get the acceptance from the university or from the high school or from even the school, but then you apply for the study visa and you get refused by Immigration Canada, and you'll be surprised, like, how can the school accept me but the government refuses me? And it's because this is a completely different process. Getting an acceptance into university or college or school is completely different than convincing the country and the government that you are coming only for the intention of study and not for any other intention, that you're able to support yourself financially and otherwise, that you are able to cooperate and live within this period of time, whether it's a year or 5 years, depends on what you're applying. So that all it's a different animal that you are actually attacking. It's a completely different thing that you need to adhere to. So yes, you can get accepted into studying into a program and also refused by the government to come in. So we can help you to apply for study visa and study permit. We can help you from everything, but if you get the acceptance and you want just help with the last part, we can do that as well.
Okay, I have 2 things to finish with them. One is a refugee who applied in Turkey. We spoke about it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I hope we will tell him if he's watching, or his family here in Manitoba or in Canada, most likely in Manitoba. He and they applied, and he has a family. His family got accepted. He was interviewed, and after the interview, he was denied.
Sure, he was over 18 when he applied.
Yes, and not only that, he used an interpreter, and they wrote in the letter of refusal that we are sure that you have been understanding what is the interpreter was saying.
Okay.
And you was telling him what he was saying.
Okay.
So, guys, sometimes what you say in the interview is very, very important.
It is not sometimes, all the time. You're
and
right.
Sometimes when they ask you, have you been with the revolution? Did you carry weapon? Did you do some activities? These questions, your answers are important. What you tell will judge.
Yeah, I mean, this is not unusual for a family to apply when they have children over 18 or over 20 in this case, and one of them being refused. And to be honest with you, it could have been worse if he was part of the family application and he would have refused, the whole family would have been refused. So the question now, does he have a course of action to appeal this decision? Can he appeal it? Can they reapply? Yes, the question is, yes, you have some courses of action you can actually do to try and fix the situation. But it's not unusual that this happens. I cannot emphasize how many times I say to people, fixing a problem is much, much more harder than preventing it from happening. So when you are about to go to an interview or apply for a process or go for refugee information, contact an immigration lawyer, hire them to prepare you for what kind of questions going to be asked, what to expect, what things would be detrimental to your case, even without even you knowing. I mean, you will not lie, but you're not allowed to lie, but sometimes you volunteer information that is completely unnecessary and it will destroy your case. Sometimes the information is irrelevant, and sometimes it's even false. Sometimes some people would volunteer information that is inaccurate, not true, to try to make their case look sympathetic and looks poor and I need help right away. And it actually ends up destroying your case. So, if you're about to go ahead for an interview or something, hire a professional who can help you. It makes a huge difference in your life.
Yes, little money, but it changes your life. Now, 2 points. Theo was asking, because he's talking about investment, do you have an office in Dubai?
Yes.
Okay, you have an office and they can. My last thing is, there is a fake information about IELTS certificates in the market. Some people say, we will give you, if you call this number and pay this little amount of money, a certificate for IELTS with the score you want. They know your need for IELTS certificate. Don't go into that road.
Yeah, it is.
Fraud.
Yeah, you can fake the paper, but the numbers that is correspondence to their database, you cannot fake that. I mean, I heard some stories about people going into writing an IELTS test and somehow they cheat in the test, or someone comes in their place. I don't think it's true, but if it is, that's fine. Maybe they get away with it. But to actually fake a certificate without you writing it, it's
and remember, submitting fake document to Canada, even after years.
20 years after.
If they catch
years
it.
After, yeah.
Done.
Yeah,
you're out.
They will throw your citizenship from you. Your citizenship.
I think that concludes our episode today, the first in English, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have comments, if you have questions, please don't hesitate, just send it to us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Abu Omar.
Thanks, Abu Ali.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you.